Good morning, Internet. It's Sunday, 19th of April, and I just couldn't take staying in the condo any longer, so I thought I'd bring you along as I go to get breakfast. This is video making day. This week, by the way, I completely lost a day. We had it was Wednesday, or at least I thought it was Wednesday morning, and then when I woke up I realized it was actually Friday. So somewhere there's a day that's missing there. Anyway, today is Sunday, and normally I make my videos on Saturdays, so this is a little bit late, and I have run out of ideas for videos in the apartment, so I thought I'd make a little bit of this one outside the apartment. I do have a few topics to talk about today, and we'll get to those in a little while. Like I said, it's a Sunday morning, and you can probably see that the streets are kind of deserted. I'm walking through Bukit Bintang, which is really the heart of the tourist area here in Kuala Lumpur. On any normal day, even at this hour, there'd be a lot of people out and a lot more cars than you see now. But it would be normally quieter than normal, but definitely not this quiet. I'm finding out as we walk that walking and talking with this mask on is really not that pleasant. I don't know if that's because I'm getting out of shape from sitting around the condo, or whether that's just a function of the mask itself. The lockdowns go by a lot of different names, and in Malaysia it's called the Movement Control Order, and referred to as the MCO. And you're not allowed to travel, you're not allowed to be outside, except if you're going to buy food, medicine, or some other essential service, or unless you're one of the workers in an essential service. I'm allowed to be out in the morning, or at this time, because I'm going to get breakfast. But normally, when I don't have anything important to do, I'm supposed to be in my condo. That's the only reason I'm outside right now. This is where I normally get my breakfast, which is roti telur, which is a fried bread with an egg in it. And I usually come here in the morning between 8 and 10, depending on what I'm doing, and get breakfast from here, and then I usually head back. This is about maybe 1.2 kms from where I'm staying, so it's a short walk. Unfortunately, it's also all the walking I do during the day. So if I get 3 to 4 kilometers a day now walking, that's a good thing. It's nothing compared to the usual 9 to 12 kilometers I used to get before the MCO went into effect. So my exercise levels have taken a dive, let's put it that way. And there's only so much planking you can do before you just get sick of it. So after this movement control order is lifted, I'm going to have to get back into an exercise program that is much more serious than I've been in before. Okay, I've got my breakfast, free roti telur. I'm going to head back to the condo and get to work. Anybody familiar with Kuala Lumpur knows that this is the area right at the end of Jalan Alor. And I think, to be honest with you, this is probably what it looks like every Sunday morning, whether the MCO is in force or not, because it's basically a tourist area and it's too early in the day for tourists to show up. But they won't be here today. They're not allowed. Most of them have gone and are no longer in the area. This is what Jalan Alor looks like on a Sunday morning during the MCO. Most convenience stores are open, as are most grocery stores, but only a certain number of people are allowed in at any particular time. Okay, I have reached my building and I'm now going to have my temperature taken before I actually go inside. This is always a stressful moment.
Video?
Yes. Is it okay?
Okay, thank you.
Apa?
34.1.
34.1. Thank
What
you.
is that?
Now, I don't know too much about how those handheld thermometers work, but I'm guessing that a body temperature of 34.1 is not really, whoops.
Doors are closing.
I don't know how those handheld thermometers work, but I'm guessing that a body temperature of 34.1 either means that I'm freezing to death or the device is not really that accurate. But you can look that up. I've had any range from 32 degrees to 36 degrees. And I think that 36 is normal. But it seems odd that handheld thermometer would actually get a 36 degree reading. So the 35 or 36 low probably is more correct. But 34 seems kind of low. Okay, we're back at the apartment, and there's a couple more things I wanted to put into this video before we wrap it up. The number one thing is I wanted to talk about travel and immigration right now. Normally immigration is not an issue for me, but because of my inability to travel, it has become an issue. As far as travel goes, I've had 3 flights out of Kuala Lumpur canceled within the last 20 days. On April 1st, I was scheduled to fly to Manila. On April 12th, that was canceled, by the way, the flight to Manila. On April 12th, I was scheduled to fly to Scranton, Pennsylvania. That flight was also canceled. I think I might have mentioned this in the video last week. The flight from Kuala Lumpur to Tokyo was okay, but from Tokyo onward, nothing was going. So I didn't want to end up in Japan not knowing when flights would leave for the United States. And then again on the 24th, that's next week, I already know that those flights are canceled. So I will not be going back to Scranton on the 24th either. My next flight that is scheduled is May 2nd, and that is also to the United States through Tokyo. So it's on a different airline, so we'll see what happens with that one. As you can see, I have not had much luck with trying to get from Kuala Lumpur to the United States. Now, the funny thing is, I'm perfectly happy to stay here. The only reason I thought it would be a good idea to go back to the United States is because if I'm here, I have this crazy idea that I should be doing something useful. And right now that would include meeting with people and trying to get my business, off the ground and things like that. But under the movement control order, there's no way I could meet with anybody. So there really isn't any reason for me to be here. I'm just sort of spending money and not really doing anything except walking around in the morning like you saw when I got breakfast a few minutes ago. And then the rest of the day I'm just writing or coding, or later in the afternoon I'm probably watching TV or things on YouTube, things like that. So that's not really a good use of my time or money, so I thought it would be easier just to go back to the U.S. and cool my heels there for a while. The immigration issue is one that is hard to get answers to. The visa, it's not actually a visa. I am allowed to come into Malaysia on what's called a social visit pass. That's like a tourist pass. A lot of people refer to that as a visa, but it's not actually a visa, it's just a pass. If you're from a citizen from certain countries, you're allowed to show up at the airport or at a port or a land crossing, and they will let you in just because you have a valid passport, a valid passport from certain other countries. And the United States is one of those countries. So if a U.S. citizen shows up at a Malaysian border, the immigration officer will stamp your passport with what's called a social visit pass, which is good if you're from the United States for 90 days. Now, it's not a visa, it's a pass. Now, for the person that gets the visa or the pass, there's practically no distinction. I can't understand what the difference is. But if you go to an immigration office, believe me, there will be a difference. There is a difference. I just don't know what it is, and it's probably something that isn't really important to me anyway. But the point is, my social visit pass is going to be expiring before my next scheduled flight. And there's no guarantee that the next scheduled flight is actually going to go on May 2nd anyway. So that's why this is a concern. So yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I emailed immigration. It's hard to find information about this online. All you find are things that are in the newspaper about extensions and exceptions to certain things because of the movement control order, but nothing official from the ministry. So I emailed the ministry 2 days ago, and this morning I got a response that talked about practically everything under the sun regarding the movement control order except immigration, visas, extensions, renewals. The one thing that was made quite clear in the several documents that I received is that the immigration offices were closed. So even if my visa does expire, the sort of word on the street is that these visas or passes will be extended at least until the people that are here under using those passes can make arrangements to either extend the pass or get tickets to fly out of here. So anyway, that's all there is from Kuala Lumpur. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.